Hey, I'm Harp, and this is a Dante breakdown. Dante. So, what's Dante? Dante is a communications protocol used the world over to connect engineers and musicians together so they can bitch about each other and bond over coffee. Uh, I use Dante in my studio to connect everything together. You could think of Dante as a replacement for things like Thunderbolt and USB cables. If you wanted, you could, because it does replace those things. So physically, uh, you have that. Now, I'm gonna do like a couple of videos and talk about each one of these things in more detail. So this is gonna be a fast, quick overview of simply just the components in my Dante studio, which is a small project studio. This stuff's been running in here for a year as I get ready to move into the new studio we've been building over here. Which looks like that. It's totally dope. We're happy and excited about this, and but you don't need to be. It doesn't need to be like a fancy studio. It doesn't need to be a university. It doesn't need to be any of that junk. For to have a Dante network and to benefit from Dante, because it really has a lot of cool benefits that we'll talk about later. So right now, we're just going to talk about my Dante network as it has been sitting in this bedroom studio for a year, and the benefits that I have, attained or that I see from it. So I've just come in here and sat down to this stuff as it usually sits. There's probably a digital performer session open, as there usually is, because this is all rock solid and never needs to be even stopped or closed or anything. So what do we have? We have an iMac 2011 style. Like spinner drive, not even solid state. It's got 12 gigabytes of RAM. Nothing fancy going on there at all. It runs Digital Performer, as I said. I've been using that for over a decade. I love it. I don't have problems like my Pro Tools buddies have. And I don't ever have problems. And it's, a DAW is the DAW. So if you're looking for a new one, Digital Performer's your guy. So I run a Raven, also a Slate Raven, and a lot of Slate products too. Actually, I got the plugins too after I got the Raven, so impressed. But anyways, so that's the computer runs that, and the Raven. We run the Dante software. That's Dante Virtual Soundcard you're seeing right there. It's a tiny little app, and that's the app that interacts with all of your applications. That's like your audio device. And it manages your actual audio devices through the Dante controller, which that's a little device info view. The Dante controller is where you also do all your routing, which is simple and easy. It might look a little confusing, but you have transmitters across the top, receivers across the side. So all the inputs and outputs can be mapped to each other or wherever they need to go. You can have any output, go to any input and vice versa. So you can transmit from anywhere to anywhere, and you can transmit from one place to many places, which is dope. Can I just say that that's dope? And so there's a lot of benefits to this Dante network thing. Audio devices, I have a Focusrite Red 4 Pre. It's chilling down here in the dark. It's a great interface, kind of costly. But it's got RedNet. It's RedNet. It's got Dante interface built in. And then we have the Presonus RML32AI, which has, I had to add a card for that, and still not a very costly interface, given that it has 32 Burr Brown pre's or converters on it, and that's a lot of mic pre's. So this will sit out in the room. It's really a stage box, but it sit in the main room and feed mics to the control room and feed headphone mixes back out to it, which is why there's a patch bay there, and the headphone amp will be up there right now. We have the trusty little rolls. Everybody's got one of those, and that's the system. So then you have connecting those together. One more thing, the Cisco switch, which is an SG200. I got it for like $50 off eBay. A switch doesn't tell things an address or give things an address, so you need to have something like a router. So this is an old airport, Apple airport. I just plugged it in. There was like 2 settings I had to put on that switch, well documented online. It took me about 10 minutes. I'm not a network engineer. I hate that stuff, but that's how easy it was to get it set up. Easy peasy. So That's the network overview. Those are the components. We don't have a fortune invested here. I'm very thrifty and frugal and cheap, and so I'll take the fastest and easiest way into things almost always. And you'll notice no accelerator card. I haven't had to mess with any of that stuff. As long as you keep your system simple, like one switch, you're good to go. You're not going to have latency trouble. My throughput, that's what everyone wants to know is, what's latency like? Well, you can go on my system through the box or in the box, monitor through the app, and you're going to have real world round trip latency like in the neighborhood of 3.1, 3.3, something like that milliseconds on average. So it stays pretty low. Sometimes it's under 3. It just depends on what else you're doing. But anyways, that's the system from high above. Dante is absolutely for everybody. As you'll see if you watch the other videos coming up, there's probably things that could make your life better from Dante. So check them out. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you never, because I don't know you, but enjoy the other videos. Ciao.